It's on. It's on. I don't believe it. It worked the first time. Last time I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? Sorry, I set up a scheduled live thing, and then I had to delete that because I set it up on a computer, and it would have went live with the camera on the laptop and not the camera like this camera, which would have messed it up entirely. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. It probably won't be as long this time as last time, so get your questions in as quick as you can because I'm not going to be able to answer every single question that everybody asks me because it's absolutely crazy once the questions start. My God, look how many people are joining already. I love this though. The kind of democratization of YouTube has been really, really interesting because it means that everybody can do what I do. Everybody can do this. You don't have to be a TV station to do it. What do I think of the Skoda Superb Sportline? Is that what I said? Skoda Superb is a really, really honestly good car. If you need space, then space it is. You know, you're going to get plenty of room in one of those. Thanks for the happy birthdays. You're very good. My birthday's actually tomorrow. How do you get in the car review like you do? How do I get in the car review? Review some second-hand cars and then ask car companies for new cars once you get a nice big audience for yourself. Thanks for the happy birthday again. I think a new Honda Civic Type R. There's actually a video on the Honda Civic Type R on my channel. If you look it up, you'll see it. I think it's too hard for everyday use. You know, if you are going to use this thing every day. If you want a hot hatch, you're going to be using every day. Golf 4, Ford Focus RS, really good choices. Civic is very, very fast and looks like a rocket ship, but the suspension is rock hard and it just gets harder. When are you going to review of the new Audi S5, S4? Don't know, whenever it gets to Ireland. Opinion of E92 M3. All M3s are fabulous apart from, I think, the second one, which is crap. Howdy from Texas, Irish in Texas. Bob, when do you think the Irish car insurance rates will start becoming normal? They won't, as long as the Irish car insurance companies get away with charging as much as they do. They always have. There is a shortage of money for payouts. So an insurance company has to have a certain amount of money in the bank in case anything happens that they have to pay out money, and Irish insurance companies don't have enough of that money, and so they have to charge to the bloody nose for insurance, whether you like it or I like it or not. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it does happen. Say it lay on DSG 1.6 or 2 litre TDI. 2 litre TDI gets slightly better fuel economy over longer distances, so I'll be going with that. Will I visit Birmingham in the UK? If somebody wants me to come to Birmingham and are willing to pay for it, yes, fine, I'll come to Birmingham. This is what happens. This channel is completely self-funded. There is no car companies don't pay money for me to do what I'm doing right now. No money changes hands, so money comes out of my pocket. So no problem going to Birmingham if someone wants to pay me. Best car to come out of Geneva this week. I tell you, Geneva is a very strange one. I looked at some of the cars that are coming out. There's nothing really surprising in among it. Most of the stuff gets revealed online and things like this these days by people like me as well. And car companies are very clever about trying to maneuver themselves to get stuff out before you ever get there. So, you know, have a look. Thanks, John Tate, top man. Just have a look through whatever you think. The stuff that's coming is going to be electric. It's going to be, you know, hybrid, hydrogen, different fuel types. That's the interesting stuff. And its aerodynamic is going to start changing the way things look. Toyota seem to be shaping the future. Indeed, Toyota were ahead of the curve, we'll say. If they can keep up, and I actually had a little spin the other day in a Toyota CHR hybrid, which was really good, really, really good. Just like the original one with the petrol engine, but just lots of little bits of torque and stuff. It's really nice. Tomorrow is actually my birthday, but thank you very much. You're very kind. At this age, you tend to forget about birthdays and don't care. How are you, Bob? I'm all right. Thanks, BB Gaming. You're very good. I'm fine. The amount of people on this stream is deadly. Who's going to win F1 World Championship? The one with the most money will win the F1 World Championship. That's how it works. If they have enough money, they'll come first. The more money that they have, the more money they can sink into development and the engines and having spare things hanging about the place and better drivers and so on. And so it's one with the most money always wins, unfortunately. Unless you go back to the days of Michael Schumacher and maybe even before him, like Eddie Jordan and stuff, where they were running. Then it wasn't necessarily all about money. It was more about the drivers and the technicals behind it. Missed that bit, sorry. Happy non-birthday. Yeah, that's tomorrow. What are your thoughts about the Peugeot bought Opel? So Peugeot, yeah, That's going to be interesting. It kind of makes more of a monopoly. Most car companies own most other car companies. There's very few car companies in the world that are actually still independent. Most of them are Asian. European guys are generally owned by somebody else anyway. I don't know who's going to benefit most. Whether it be Opel will benefit from Peugeot's experience or Peugeot will benefit from Opel experience. Hopefully they'll both get it. Hopefully the consumer will be the winner. That's the big part. Is that if the consumer wins, I'm okay with that. If we get better, cheaper, more honest, more useful vehicles out there, I'm happy. If we get ripped off because a monopoly starts to charge more in among the group, then I'm not so happy. So I'm always on the consumer side. Yours. In the name of the consumer. For some reason I can't see my own live stream, which is amazing. Greetings from Sydney. How long till the XC60 review? I don't know. It's in a calendar somewhere. It might be a month away, I think. I'm not too sure. If you think there's 52 weeks in a year, I can probably drive max maybe 2 or 3 cars a week. So it's very hard to get shuffled through them all. So it's very hard to get them all done. Jaguar XFS 2011 second hand or Seat Leon Cooper S. Seat Leon Cooper S would be more useful, I think, as a 5-door hatch. Plus it's a bit more subtle. It does look nice. SsangYong Tivoli review anytime soon. I've driven a SsangYong Tivoli last year. Kind of forgettable. They're a little bit industrial. They'll get there. If they start focusing more on European cars and less on the stuff that they're doing out there right now, then they'll get there in the end. Do you think that all manufacturers are putting the wool over our eyes over the emissions of... I don't know. We'll probably never know that. Unless you put all the cars that are on the road today on a rolling road to see if they've got the same sort of cheating. That's the only way you're going to find out they were cheating us all along. So, no doubt they were absolutely destroying the environment. Cars always have destroyed the environment, but I would imagine the planes do as much damage, if not more damage to the environment on a daily basis. So, we're going to have to stop emitting CO2 and stop trying to heat up the environment and trying to find better ways of fueling our vehicles, all vehicles, in the very near future. And if we don't do it, we're going to do awful harm to ourselves. What's your choice tunes for the daily drives? Kind of Britpop stuff. Depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm in a want to get myself moving, it's like Britpop, Pulp, Common People or something from years ago. Most of the modern stuff is rubbish. And that little red-haired git has absolutely murdered the charts as well because it's streaming charts, which is no good. Hi Bob, VW Golf TSI Auto Person here. Car was sold before I could get it tested and she's nice. Anyway, question due to ESP charge points. I missed the end of the bloody question. So long, sorry. ESP charge points, which I was drawing your attention to recently. Best driving road in Ireland down at Kerry. I can't even name it now. It'll come to me as the string goes on. It'll think of it now. It's down at Kerry. It's really, really good road. It's not a fast road. It's just you need a convertible, like a Fiat 124 or something to go down there. Just enjoy that run. It's not part of the Atlantic Way either. Electric charging in Ireland, ESB doesn't know what it's doing and still doesn't know what it's doing, and it's about time that that ESB really copped on and put 2 feet into the water here and got some real electric cars. Thanks for that. It is my birthday tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. You're very kind. Everybody keeps going, happy birthday. It's great. I don't know if you guys can actually see the comments that are flying up on the screen. It's funny. It's good. Seat Leon Cooper or Tourer, 300 horsepower. It's 4-wheel drive. What do you think? Brilliant. I have no problem with Seat Leons. I own a Seat Leon, but any Seat Leon, particularly the Cupra, is very, very good. I enjoy what a Cupra does because it's like taking all the good stuff that Volkswagen do and then just making a little bit more unhinged, and I kind of like that. It should be, and it's a shame that Seat don't go more towards the Alfa Romeo brand and kind of get a bit crazy with the stuff that they do. It really would get some fans out there. What do you think? 120 brake horsepower Mondeo coming from 140 Insignia. Mondeo's a big car, which is kind of weird. And I've seen it with this 1 litre petrol engine in it, which is just ridiculous. But it's a big car. So more horsepower is always good with a Mondeo. You will notice the difference of that 20 horsepower, 160 to 140. Insignias tend to be a little bit more sporty than Mondeos. Mondeos tend to be a bit more comfortable and flabby. Columbus on, but I'm watching you. Don't know what a Columbus is. What do you think of the Opel Insignia 2 litre TDCi 160 brake horsepower? Really good car. Little bit on the sales rep side. Nothing wrong with sales reps, but it's just you go into a Tesco's car park or Dunn's car park, you might lose an Insignia in it, but it's still a nice car to drive. Gearbox gate a little bit too long. I've always said this with Opels. I think it might be the shape of the gear knob actually, rather than the gear shift itself. But they're a really nice car, but they have a funny hump in the boot as well, which they haven't fixed either, so it's a strange old thing. Is it true Seats have firmer suspension than Skoda? Yeah, they do. Yeah, Volkswagen would be... Yeah, Skoda would be the softest, Volkswagen next, and then Seat would be the hardest. What is your favourite road that you've ever driven on? I have so many roads we've driven on, because particularly on international launches, a car company chooses these special roads for you to go driving on. Anywhere down around Monaco, any of the things that are called cols, like Col de Torini or Col de whatever, one of them things, they're usually brilliant, like switchback roads going up the mountains. Brilliant. What is my harmful emissions of electric or diesel car? Okay, so there's a big question going on at the moment. I see it over and over and over again. Lots of people are asking about, it's a really good question by the way, lots of people are asking about the shift away from diesel towards petrol, which has been kind of rammed home now by what Volkswagen were caught doing and what other companies managed to avoid getting caught doing. So a car emits CO2, it emits NOx, it emits more than that. There's an awful lot more stuff comes out of the tail end of a car. These are harmful not just to the environment, but they're harmful to humans. And now usually it's okay because the wind blows it away. So if the breeze is there, then you'll find that the emissions are getting pushed into the atmosphere, getting pushed away from humans. But in a city environment, in a town environment, city environment, closed roads where you have buildings that are like tall on both sides, the CO2 rises up along the building and comes back down into the centre again. And the problem there is you're walking through a haze of this all day long. So there has been an increase in people getting cancer and getting lung cancer and getting mouth cancer and throat cancer, nasal passage, that sort of stuff, where the heavy particles are getting into people's body. So there's a move away from diesel because petrol emits less of all this stuff and can do less damage, I suppose, in some way, and also move towards hybrids and hydrogen and any other fuel type. So within the next decade, we probably will see an end towards diesel being new. Have I ever crashed? Yeah, of course. You don't get to 45 years old without crashing a car at some point or other. Depends. On a track? No. I've been in a car that crashed on the track. Won't say about that one. But yeah, I have been crashed into, and I crashed into the back of a car a couple of years back. Irish government pushed on diesel. Correct and true, Thomas Clark. You're absolutely right. I did, at the time, contact the Green Party and said it was an absolutely stupid idea to go down the route of just CO2 emissions-based tax, that everybody would just buy the lowest CO2 emission cars. I was shot down, and they continued on with it. They continue on with it still, and people are still buying the lowest taxed car out there that they can find. Although car companies are getting clever on how they advertise the car, so they advertise it based on its taxed. Will you review the Cooper 300? 300? Yeah, when it gets here, yeah, sure. When Seat put one on, I'll always review it. If it's on there, I'll try and get it. How would you compare the Civic Type R FR2 against the Clio 3? Civic's going to last longer, 100%. Civic's going to definitely last you longer. Are you a full-time reviewer or do you have another job? I have another job currently, but I have been a full-time reviewer for the last 7 years, I think. 7 or 8 years, something like that. So freelance, I suppose you'd call it. It's full-time in another way. So I've been full-time, I've been part-time, been full-time, part-time. So a bit of everything. What would be your perfect first car? Whatever you can afford is the perfect first car. You've got to weigh up all the balance. You've got to weigh up insurance, tax, running costs, and general just kind of petrol and diesel and, sundries of a car. Generally speaking, the smaller the car, the less of all this happens, because the insurance company penalise you for having a big engine. No one knows why. Who is your favourite car vlogger? I don't really watch stuff about cars on YouTube because it jades my thoughts on cars that I'm going to drive. I don't really watch any of the car vlogger guys, especially these rich kids who buy big fast cars and then go, I bought my Lamborghini. F*** off. No one else can buy a Lamborghini. Hello, Mr. Greek. My God, look how many people are watching this live stream. You're very patient. I'd love to know what it is that you're waiting to see. I'm not sure what it is I'm doing, but I got huge amount of requests last week to do another one of these, which is why it's back again. Under 30 grand. Ross, problem is prices are different in every country, but you're looking probably 2009, 2008 M3 if you really want something under 30 grand. It's going to be really, really top presence and get the kind of 4 exhausts across the back, worth every single penny. Ross, if you're going to try and get one of them in Ireland, it's going to be a problem, but you will find them. They are there. You probably have to import them, in fairness. on Irish tack. Pay the same for Golf GTIs, the V6. Yeah, I know. Went for a lot of numbers, Bob. Well, he went for a lot of numbers, right? But we should go for a lot of numbers. 1, 9, 12, 24, 44, and 46. I don't know if that's enough numbers. When is the Tiguan Allspace out in Ireland? Towards the end of this year, Neve, I think. That's going to be like a Qashqai plus 2. I suppose interesting looking car. If Volkswagen are doing, there's got to be something behind it. Looking forward to the new Skoda Kodiaq. Any thoughts? Seems part good. If the Kodiaq is as good as the Seat Ateca that I'm driving this week, it's one. The only problem I would have is the Seat Ateca is incredibly good. I don't know why you would spend more to buy a Kodiaq or why you would spend even more to buy a Tiguan. So my day has been absolutely brilliant, Oisin Fitzpatrick. I've been out swimming this morning, which is the first thing. I got breakfast in bed as well. Whoa. Have you driven an electric car? Yeah, loads of them. All the ones that are on the road, apart from Tesla, I haven't driven. So if you're from Tesla, give me cars. Bring one to Ireland and I'll drive it. I've driven them, but I haven't officially. Are you going to get the BMW M2? I have requested one from BMW Ireland. I'm waiting to hear back. But I will get a drive it in Mondello in a couple of weeks. Do you like the new Alfa Giulia? For me, it's almost better than Vagina. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's better than Vagina, but, you know, it's pretty good. It's a very pretty looking car, but generally speaking, the Giulia, the one that we're all going to buy, which would be the 2.2 litre diesel or something, won't be as good as the actual fast one, you know. If you had to buy 2016 Mondeo Mark IV, Mark V, I would buy the Mark V. It's slightly lighter than Mark IV, more agile, better suspension setup as well. They learned a lot from that. No problem. I got a 132 Superb Face. I think I go for Les my LNK. 19-inch alloys. Happy birthday. Yes, I never complain about Skoda Superb. Once you understand that it's not a sports car, it's a big, sloppy, comfortable place to be, bring your family and stuff. It's lovely. All Superbs are good, even if they look a little bit weird. What car do you have yourself? A 2006 Seat Leon 1.6 petrol, 102 brake horsepower, which I have to make a video of because that was a massive request from last week as well. Which are your most pleasant, helpful manufacturers supplying cars reviewed? The most pleasant for me is when they send me a list of cars and they go, what do you want? And I send back dates and I go, that's that, and they book it into calendar. And that's the simplest thing for me. Once that happens, I'm happy. Everybody's happy. The most helpful cars out there would probably be Fiat, funny enough. You just ring up Fiat and just go, yeah, sure, what car do you want? How do you think Brexit will affect UK imports? The problem is everything we get in this country is an import, if you think about it. Car dealers import cars from the UK as well. So it's not just us, the end users, going to be affected. Everybody's going to be affected. The whole chain will be affected. We are Britain's biggest customer. And think about that as well, not just for cars, just generally. And Britain is one of our biggest customers. So if you separate the two, it's going to be weird. It's going to end up strange. But you can still, we'll go back to Jap imports. We'll go back to getting cars from Japan. That'll be the next thing that'll happen. If you're old enough to remember all the white cars we got here in the 80s and 90s. Touch-based infotainment. No, I don't really like touch-based. I prefer wheels. I don't mind touch-based when you touch screen when you've got just a radio or MP3 player or whatever on it, but any more than that, forget it. It's got to be a wheel when it comes to the temperature settings. It should be physical things, because I can do stuff to turning temperatures up and down without looking at the knobs and dials and things. I can figure out how to do it, but if it's on a touchscreen, you have to look. Have you a funny tale instant reviewing a car? I did, yeah. There was a few times. One, I thought I was going to drive off a cliff was one. I was trying to stop a car to take a picture on the side of the road, and the road ended in an actual cliff. That was really interesting. But I didn't drive off a cliff, obviously. But one of the other things that happened was we flew out to go down. Where were we going? Barcelona? I think we went to Barcelona for something. And I ended up... No, it wasn't Barcelona. It was a different country. It was Geneva or something. Anyway, I walked out the wrong door, and the airport ends in 2 countries, and I ended up in another country. Literally walking out the wrong door of an airport, which is funny. Jaguar make really good cars. The problem is, I suppose the brand has less of an illustrious nature now than it had maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Seen as an old man's car, you needed tons of money to drive a Jag. Not so much anymore. So it has lost a little bit of that edge. Run flat tyres are the work of the demons when it comes to handling on a road, but for things that happen on the road, if it goes boom and it's going down and runs flat, that's fabulous. You know, when you've had a blowout, you'll quickly tell the difference between a run flat tire and a normal tire that actually goes down very quickly and just goes and it's gone. I don't know if anyone's ever had a blowout before, but they are very alarming. Why are all cars not automatic these days? I don't know. A lot of people still like manuals. I love a manual for a sporty drive. There's some great manuals out there. That Fiat 124 last week had an absolutely brilliant manual box in it. But DSG and automatics have come a long way. EVs, what EVs do I like is another question. That's a good question. I like the Nissan Leaf, mainly because it's all proven. So we know where we are with the Nissan Leaf. You know the package. It's a little bit space agey. It would be the edge of it, I suppose. It's still, but people still like to, tell everybody about their environmentally friendliness. Opinions on twin cams. They're nearly all gone. If you can find, there's our moderator back. Hey, moderator, come on. If you can find a twin cam today, buy it. Put it in a shed. Keep it dry, because in a few years' time there'll be none left, and you'll be worth millions. I don't know what that said. There was something about hate speech there. I don't get that. Here's our moderator back. We're all okay. Jack Mandley, stop. We're having a crack. Loads of good questions coming in. If you're not going to have the crack, you're going to end up being banned. Okay? You'll be banned from the channel and you won't be able to comment anymore. So go back, take it down a step, take a breath, walk away from the keyboard, come back and start again. We're just having a bit of crack. Loads of questions, by the way, came in from you guys. I asked for questions yesterday on the video yesterday, which was the little look around the interior of the car. So tons of questions came in that as well. Diesel, well, that's a tricky one. In future budgets, it's hard to tell, but the budget always comes up. Lancia. Well, it's true, Lancia. I've seen Lancias are still there overseas. We don't get them here, but we still see Lancias. Plenty of Lancias when you go to Italy. 3008. So I've had so many requests for the 3008 Peugeot 3008. Peugeot Ireland. Will you phone up and give me a Peugeot 3008 before somebody freaks out and goes mad on it? I'll take it next week if you have one. Electric cars still need a lot of work in Ireland. We still need a lot of infrastructure. Still not being taken seriously, and that will probably become from the monopoly that petrol stations have on this country. And that would be a big effort. There's lobbyists out there that work for petrol stations. What is my channel for? Hello, Korea. There's a man from Korea who's new here, has never been here before. What is my channel for? We review cars. I don't know. After everything, it's a little eclectic. Most of the time, it's just car reviews. Sometimes there's a vlog or two, a day change. We go overseas. We do all sorts of weird crap. So, how can I get into car reviewing? Well, that's a chicken and egg scenario. So, if you want to review cars for yourself in your country or wherever you're in Ireland, whatever, right, and you want to do it, I've had this question lots as well. I started by reviewing second-hand cars. I did a deal with a local dealership. He'd give me a car, I'd go review it. I wrote a review, I gave it to local newspapers. If they printed it, great. I sent those reviews off to car companies, and the car companies came back and go, yeah, I'll take that. Here's a car, enjoy. I spent a few weeks on buses and trains and taxis, and then after a while they eventually started giving me cars. I don't think I've looked back since, pretty much. Is it tough trying to get hold of some of the flashier, quicker stuff? Yeah, because most of the stuff doesn't come out in Ireland, okay? So Ireland doesn't have, for instance, a Lamborghini dealer or a Porsche dealer. It has places that'll fix those kind of cars, but it doesn't. I do review Hyundai cars. Do a search on my channel. I do review them. Most of those cars aren't for sale in Ireland, and so if they're not for sale, not directly, there's no dealership here. If they're not for sale in Ireland, they're not really supported in Ireland. So I'd have to go over there to drive the cars for Lamborghini or someone. And plus Ferrari, Lamborghini, those kind of people, they're just exclusive. They choose their customers, which I think is the most stupid thing anyway. It's not buffering my end, and you're the only person complaining, so I don't know if we're actually buffering, but I don't think so. You are very cool, T-Burger. Well done. I've always seen Seat as a good value Alfa Romeo. Do you agree? Yes, it was getting there. K. Hewitt. It was getting there, but it's not great now. In fairness, they still have a leash on them, and that leash would be Volkswagen. So people turn up from Volkswagen. When Seat develop a car, people turn up from Volkswagen and go, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't have that part. You can't have that part. You'll have to turn down the power, whatever it is, and they take the good out of it. So because you can imagine from a business perspective, Volkswagen don't want Seat to outsell it. You know, they've got a particular market. They don't want to be all trading in the same market. Now, the problem right now is if I had the four brands outside the door, we might leave Audi slightly out of it, but if Volkswagen, Seat and Skoda were standing outside the door, three of the same car, and you got from one to the other, you'd find it pretty difficult to tell them apart. What's the difference between a Seat, Skoda and VW? None, pretty much. None. There's some tuning differences and the exterior outside is done. Saw your IS300 had out a core type S and going to Lexus opinion. Second-hand value for the hybrid Lexus. Yeah, hybrids are going to come into their own. If you've got a hybrid car, you're going to get more money for it at some point, as long as you mind it, obviously. Fiat 500X is one of my favourite cars. In fairness to it, Fiat 500X, I think it's a really pleasant little car. It's based on a little Jeep. There'll be Jeep Wranglers and stuff coming on soon, and there's a Jeep Grand Cherokee, I think, as well. I don't know. Other people deal with my calendar, so I don't really pay much attention to it. Sportage or Kodiaq? I don't know. I have to wait till I drive the Kodiaq. A Sportage, I really like them, but Volkswagen do the better gearbox and stuff, so I don't know. Does Ireland have car production? That's a really good question. We used to have block exemption in this country. We used to manufacture cars here. And if you wanted to sell a car in Ireland, you had to build it in Ireland. And that used to be the way. That was up until 50s or 60s or something around there. Fiat were here. The first Volkswagen Beetle ever made outside of Germany was produced in Dublin. The first Ford ever produced outside of America was produced here in Cork. So massive history of us and cars in this country, but we lost it all way back when. And what they did was all of the MDs and workers from the old car factories ended up being the MDs of the modern pharmaceutical industry. A lot of them are old now and retired. So, but yeah, we used to do an awful lot of car production in this country, and cars were exported from here all over the world. So we had a huge history for it. 6.3 million tax haven car production with boom there. Oh, it wasn't a tax haven back then. It might be now, but it wasn't back then. I certainly pay a lot of tax. So it's not tax haven for me. I can absolutely positively tell you that. It might be for Google and Microsoft. If you've got enough money, you don't basically pay any tax. You employ people to make sure you don't have to. But personal tax is still high, even in proper tax havens like the Channel Islands. Any strong views on PCP to purchase cars? Yeah. I don't have strong views on it. If you can afford the deposit and the get out, then PCP is pretty good. But it's quite restrictive. So if you go over the mileage, you will be penalised. If the car isn't as good as it was when you gave it out there, you'll be penalised for that as well. So, weigh up the pros and cons. These are financial decisions. It may seem like a really good thing. I think if you're really young and you're just starting out, it's very hard to get a loan, you don't have big cash, it's great, because at the end of 3 years, if it doesn't work out, you don't have enough money, just hand the car back. It's good like that. But there's pluses and minuses. It's the best version out there that suits both consumers and car manufacturers at the moment. But you can get a car loan from an ordinary bank as well. Please tell me that somebody I can't pronounce loves somebody else that I can't pronounce. I'm terribly sorry. I had to give you that phonetically. Do you not need a deposit for the second time you change the car or a PCP? You do. You can carry over the car. You have to pay down the end of the other car you're getting out of to get into the next car. And so you just start again. It's just a new agreement. You continue on, but you still got to pay off one finance against the other. PCP is personal contract plan. It basically amounts to kind of a hire purchase. Bob Flavin for Top Gear. Me thinks Top Gear needs to be honest, John. Thumbs up. Absolutely, Paul. I'm up for that. Speaking of Top Gear, has anyone seen the new series of Top Gear start last Sunday, and the next episode is on tonight? Did anybody see it? Anybody got an opinion on it? What you thought of it? Whether it was good, bad, or indifferent? Because I know I do. And I know probably Chris Harris won't like it. I can't read that. It's in a different language. Aaron Bell says that he loved last week on Top Gear. So, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I was a little bit forced in the studio. I thought the studio bit went on a bit too long. The Grand Tour. Yeah, the Grand Tour is a bit childish, if I'm honest. It's a bit stupid. It's gone beyond. It's not really that funny anymore. I love the way he's called Joey. He's not. He just plays Joey forever. But the scripted stuff wasn't great, and they really do on Top Gear seem to force the comedy every time. They just film everything and then go, let's find the funny bits and just show them. And so yeah, it was a little bit forced, a little bit trite. But Top Gear took 10 years to get used to itself as well. Their first show together. It's not their first show together. See, the problem is they've got to earn money. They got to earn money now. Top Gear was the biggest show that BBC had worldwide, and they got to earn it right this very minute. And if you see Porsche or Ferrari or any of these guys retweeting stuff and go, "Wow, we're on Top Gear, look at that," yeah, that means they're not reviewing the cars. That means they can't be reviewing the cars. If Porsche aren't scared to have their car on Top Gear, then something's wrong. If it's all forced, they also have Top Gear Extra Show. I didn't see the Extra Show, and I don't watch that stuff. But I'd rather the car review show. Only one car review is enough. There's no car reviews at all, Stephen, on Top Gear. None whatsoever. They just talk about cars. They don't really do anything. Favorite car scene in the film? Ronin. The car chase in Ronin is the most epic thing because there's not much music in it. It's just the noise, and it's obviously filmed by the French stuntmen who are brilliant. French stuntmen are deadly. Is diesel dying out since we can come back? Yeah, petrol is going to make a comeback. You're going to find hybrid is going to be everywhere, so get out of the diesel if you possibly can. All money is going from diesel to petrol. Electric cars. Yeah, electric cars are brilliant, but they're still not right yet. They will be. Another couple of years, and we'll have better ones. Grand Tour. I still haven't watched all the Grand Tour because it's just so childish. It's like watching three grown men drinking tons of Red Bull and just doing stupid things. Like the celebrities falling out of the sky thing. That was funny the first time. The second episode? Nah. The dead celebrity every time. I'm not looking for a celebrity car and a reasonably priced car stuff, but still, it was a bit thick. Is the A3 the best designed car in 10 years? Don't know. Yeah, it's a really well designed car for sure. It really is very good. It's a little bit on the pricey side though. I can't say it's a better designed car than a Volkswagen Golf, really. Or a Seat Leon, right? Because they are all the same. Even though an Irishman designed the Audi A3, David Caffrey is his name. He's from Dublin. I met him. I know him. I've seen him around here. Do you have also issues with diesel cars now? In Germany and some cities like Stuttgart starting with 2018 are forbidden diesel cars. This is true. They are forbidden diesel cars. In Paris, they put on odd number plates so they take off. And if your car is diesel, you can't bring it. Petrol, you can't bring it. Cormac, I missed that question there. I'm terribly sorry. I should have this on another screen here somewhere. How did I get on a screen last time? I'll figure it out in a minute. It'll come to me. Oh, Q&A, there I am. My God, I'm trending. I'm trending? How's that happening? Okay, I just heard myself there a second ago. Now I should be able to see your questions from further back. Cormac and Bob, what's your opinion on being delivered a brand new car damaged with scratches? Dealer wants to replace the wing but shouldn't be replaced with new and non-damaged car. Tricky one. Under Consumer Goods Act, cars are not covered. I'll tell you that now straight off. There is a certain amount of coverage to it. You should be able to negotiate with the dealer. It depends how far the scratches are, how bad the damage is. If it's crashed, it's crashed. It has to be replaced. But if you can damage it and it's unaffected to be certified by the dealer that the price has not changed on it, then you can possibly get away with it. Does Ireland have an electric charging network? Yes, it does. It's crap, mostly. A lot of the ways you can't find out what's happening at the electric charge point you're going to, which is a bit of a problem. I make movies, Ross. That's also my job as well as my hobby, which is kind of weird. My God, look at all these people. This is getting serious. I'm actually trending on YouTube. This is deadly. Keep going. It's great. Click the like button. Click the like. That seems to be the thing to do. Is click the like button. But it's kind of funny to have this Irish thing trending. What is the problem with the current hybrids? Nothing. Toyota Prius, 70 miles a gallon. Brilliant. I thought it was really, really good. No problem at all. No problem, Cormac. Any question you have? Sorry, the questions on the screen over here do lag ever so slightly behind the live questions which happen on this screen. The other ones are over here. Any thoughts on F1 and Honda's complete failure for McLaren over the last 3 years? F1 has completely failed over the last 3 years to gain an audience and get the old audience back. So F1 really needs to examine itself more than start to examine more cars. The one that has the most money wins in F1, and that has been the way for the last 10 odd years. And all of these little subtle changes in rules and regulations and things do nothing. You just want to bring back the V10 screamy stuff, Bob, I'm a VRS man, but I think the new Cupra Tourer 300 all-wheel drive is the sexiest car out there. The interior is bland. You can spec a better interior. And, if you have a problem with the interior of the car, get a better one. If you're still not happy with it, you may go to a different car. Seats tend to have an exciting exterior, which I quite like most of the time. Hi V Singer, I see a pop up there. F1 electric. Now there is an electric. I can't remember what it's called. There's a name for the electric F1. It's not called F1. Something else. It's very good. A friend of mine does some work on it as well, which is quite good. When do you see the GM bought now? GM Europe is gone. Opel was always Europe. GM was only America. So GM Europe didn't exist in the first place. It was Opel, and it's always been Opel. My God. Formula E, there it is. Steve, good question, good answer. There's Formula E. Check out Formula E if you want to see electric Formula 1, basically, is what Formula E is. Check it out. It's really good. It's really good, honestly. Hello, that guy. What car would you buy second-hand if you had 10 grand? Depends on what country you're in. In Ireland, 10 grand is not very much money. I'd probably look for something nice and classic. Something reasonable but classic. Go back a few years, but not quite, into the 80s, like a Ford Escort or something, something like that, something along those kind of lines. How long have we got with the low tax diesels in Ireland? How are they going to tax us into small petrols? Look, small petrols are common. Look at the Toyota CHR and 1.2 litre petrol. Done. And you'll see small petrol cars as small as it's going to get. Ford have been bringing out a 1 litre petrol for years. That's been around for a long time. The thing about the small petrols, they have to put a turbo into them. Once they put a turbo, the turbo has to be small and has to spin really, really quickly, like 250,000 turns. And the problem there is longevity. How long can a turbo spin for before it, bursts? I'm trying to keep up with you on. There's absolutely tons of stuff happening along here. Kieran Haven says golf, England. Bob, hi there from Romania. Hi Alan from Romania. Lovely reviews. Which small new hybrid for me? Toyota CH or CHX. Jeez, I still can't remember the name of that car. That's terrible. I think they're pulling the trigger on an E46 M3, but tax is putting me off. If tax is putting you off, it's because you can't afford the tax, and then you might have to look at it because the price of the tyres on an M3 is going to be the same as the tax per year. So think about that for a second, because tyres are very expensive. An exhaust system for an M3 is like €5,500. So just remember that before you even begin. The minute you want to go down the M route or any of those fast cars, you are going to pay more for everything, not just tax. Best current MPGE. What's an MPGE? Don't know. Come back to that one. Thinking of pulling on not that one. I've read that one already. Trying to be short. I want to buy a second-hand Volvo S60, but everyone tells me they suck, but without real arguments. S60s don't suck really. Volvos are boring. Just that's it, and they know it. I've said it for years. This isn't news or anything. Volvos are pretty boring to drive. They're beautifully built. Beautiful interiors, absolutely crazily beautiful interiors, but ultimately unrewarding to drive. You'll be very proud of it standing outside your door, but you just won't be enthusiastic about driving it every day. Thoughts on VW dealership consolidation and lack of competition choice for consumers? Consumer has plenty of choices. You don't have to buy VW. The problem is, if you want to buy a VW, the price is basically fixed now across most countries, but that has happened all over the world, not just here. I still reckon most VW dealers, and any dealer, this counts for any dealer, this can happen anywhere. You can go to Toyota and find this, Nissan and find this, but I still reckon they will cut each other's throats for a new car sale. So bear that in mind. But the price fixing has been going on from PCP time, but even before that, dealers have worked together for years. There's been court cases about this over the years, about dealers going and fixing the prices. It's not that long ago that Citroen was in trouble as well. It was not Citroen themselves, but dealers themselves were in trouble as well. So this has been happening for a long, long time. Are VW reliable? Any car is reliable depending on how it's been treated. If the car has been treated well over its lifetime, it'll be reliable. If the car has been wrecked over its lifetime and now looks clean, it'll probably fall apart. But that does exclude some old-fashioned cars which will fall apart at the very sight of rain. What do you think about the Skoda Octavia 2017? It's only a facelift. Very weird looking front in that. I don't like them 4 headlights. It looks strange. It looks really strange. It's a bit of an odd one. Flying along with the live chat. So much chat. So many questions. Does nobody else answer your questions? And all of them are cars this week. Last week we talked about everything. We talked about fitness and all sorts of things. Who do you think makes more reliable cars? Done that one. Fisher Karma. Is it your great investment future collectible? No, it's too rare. Too rare, really. and they're not very nice either. I don't like them. Just that's my own opinion. I don't really like them. Will you be following the new V90 cross country? If Volvo bring it, yeah, I'll be reviewing it at some point. Getting them all into the 1 year can be a big problem. It's the only problem. There's so many cars there at the moment. Opinion on a Bentley Continental Flying Spur 2008. There are much better cars out there than Bentley anything, and I'll tell you that straight off. Having a Bentley is crass, okay? So it just exudes money. So if that's what you want to do, that's great. But absolutely everything goes up. The minute you pull up in a Bentley, dinners in a restaurant go up in price, right? So everything goes up in price. They're beautifully built, hand-built stuff, fabulous, fantastic, but you know, meh, same old stuff. Do you think we'll have car dealers in the future? Nowadays you can buy cars over the internet and deliver to home. Correct, we won't have car dealers in the future. No, we won't. I would suspect much sooner than people think. Meh. Yeah, exactly. That's my thought on those sort of things. Yeah, meh. Bentleys are for, you know, journalists who feel like they're one-upmanship. They can go get themselves a Bentley, but I don't know. They're all right. I wouldn't. It's obscene the amount of money you spend on those kind of Rolls Royce Bentley cars. What the hell are you on about? Do you watch other review channels? Car Wow, Auto Express, Car Buyer? No, not really. I do sometimes. They're in the trending thing, so I click them and see what they think of cars. But I find if I watch someone else's review of a car before I've driven it, I get jaded. The idea they influence my thoughts on a car, and I prefer to just find the stuff myself and kind of go, yeah, well, I don't like this or I do like this, because even the other stuff that I've watched, I found that they're not very straight. They don't tell you straight whether they like it or don't like it. They just go, it drives better than this, or it feels like that, or they do a lot of comparison, but they don't really do a lot of opinion. I think it might be a fear thing. They're afraid of being opinionated towards other car companies in case car companies go, well, you can't drive our cars anymore. I tend to just tell you absolutely straight that I don't like stuff, or I do like stuff. And if I don't like it, you'll very quickly hear it. Which nice big clean cars? Oh, I can't read that. Which some unlike America, I can't read that. Someone goes Ferrari. Well done. Why? We are watching you because you are genuine. Some other reviews are paid, unfortunately. Yeah, there's a lot of paid reviews out there, I'm afraid. And even if they're not paid, there's a certain amount of people afraid of losing the ability to get the cars. So there's that fear of, you know, I might not ever get a Ford again if I don't like Fords. That's not true. If you have an audience and people are listening, give an opinion. Be an opinionated person. There's all sorts of top 10s now these days. You know, top 10 cars from Geneva, top 10 cars from this. There's no opinion in them. It's just like, this is 10 random cars I picked up, or this is. It could happen with phones. It happens all the time on the internet right now. Companies phone up, they give you something free, and you're supposed to say it's brilliant. You know, and you go, that's not how it works. 2006 Seat Leon from ages ago, 1.6 petrol. That's not my daily driver, but that's another car that I actually own. Audi versus Merc versus BMW, modern model only. BMW. There you go. They're just the most fun, they're the most complete at any level, so front to end. The only problem is the front wheel drives don't work so well. So if you can stay away from the front wheel drive ones, grand. MX-5 or the Fiat Yoke. Yoke is an Irish word that is for, you know, that yoke. The Fiat. I'd have the Fiat, please. It's just nicer package. Series 7 will become a hybrid. Yeah. 3.5 tons worth of a car will be a hybrid. I'm sure that'll be environmentally friendly. The problem is, if we continue to buy, if we continue to buy brand new cars made out of stuff, then we're going to use up all the environment. We need to start recycling things and using recycled goods in cars. Audi A3 Saloon is my best. What did you say about Audi A3 Saloon there? I missed that. I'll come back to that in a second. It'll pop up on the screen. There's so many questions zooming up along the screen that it takes a while for this to cop on over here. Thoughts on LPG conversion? Yeah, that was a really good idea once upon a time, and then people seem to lose interest because you lose half your boot and there wasn't proper investment and there's lots of gubbins and things in the boot. But I'd have no problem with that sort of stuff. You do need a special license, by the way, if you're going to make your own fuel. So if you're going to use peanut oil or something, or for diesels or chip fat or any of that sort of stuff, you have to be very careful of that, right? Just as a quick side note, in case anyone's laughing, I'm thinking, chip fat? What? An old diesel engine car can run on what Nick Cooper just said there, biofuels, which is fuels you can make yourself. The original diesel engine was actually designed to run on peanut oil, but peanut oil was actually quite hard to get, and so diesel came into the thing. But it would actually run on chip fat, clean chip fat, any sort of oil that burns. It will old diesel engines will run. Modern diesel engines won't, because they're very fine little nozzles that spray things and little tiny filters and stuff. So they won't. But if you go back, like there was an old Mercedes 300. It was like the original C or an E-Class or something. That had the 300 engine that was in that would run on anything, run on vodka, wouldn't care, just put it in it. But a lot of people tried to do that, but then they brought in a law in the UK where you had to license if you're going to start producing this fuel yourself, and people would filter out chip fat and they'd go to the local chip shop and ask for the old fat out of it to make fuel for their car. Brilliant idea. Smell. I still remember the smell of driving behind a car that was using chip fat to fuel itself. It smelled like chips cooking. Volvo V70 Flexi Fuel can run any car. That's correct. Yeah, the Flexi Fuel, which Volvo tried to bring about but never really succeeded with, that's been going for a long time. What do you think of the Ferrari 360? I don't test Ferraris. Ferraris you have to be put on a list and you have to pay them lip service and go, yeah, I'm a lovely boy, thanks very much. I won't say anything bad about your car. They bring you to a test track. They bring a whole heap of engineers, they set the car up specially for the test track, and they put you in the seat and they let you drive around. Then they bring you back out, they check it all again, make sure you haven't done anything stupid, and then you're told to go away and write your review, and it has to be nice, or you'll never get another Ferrari in your life. So I don't do that. If Ferrari wants to drop around a car to my house here, work away. Sorry, I'm just taking a sip of my coffee here. What do you look for first when reviewing a car? Very first thing is, do I like the design of the exterior? Will I be happy looking at it? Outside the door is the very first thing, because I think 80% of happy ownership of a car is looking out the window at the car and going, that's a cool car. And I think that's happy. That makes me happy. It makes other people happy. The other 20% of ownership of the car is how comfortable it is, how economical, how reliable, all that stuff, all that sort of stuff. Guys, don't start freaking out. We're having a good time. We've done well this year. Moderators here, and you'll end up getting yourself deleted and banned from the channel if you're going to start messing around and bringing it down. This is a kid-friendly channel. You can, underage are more than welcome here to have a chat and a talk and listen in on the conversation. So keep it nice. Honda Jazz. Why did it die? Honda Jazz? Because it just changed the name of it. That's all. Nothing ever dies. It just, if the market falls and they don't want it anymore, it's gone. They need a crossover, so they had to have a crossover. What's your opinion on the BMW 5 Series? 5 Series, the new one. I missed the end of that. I don't think it was a new one you were talking about. I haven't driven the new 5 Series. That's coming in a few weeks' time. I just have a good time. So many cars, so little time. G90. All 5 Series are good. Chris Bangle's 5 Series is the nicest one. Still the nicest one. It was ugly duckling when it came out, but good God, it's so nice. What else we got here? Sorry. When will there be sold more electric cars than fuel cars? Depends if electric is the future. If electric is the future of cars, they'll sell more cars electrically. If it's not the future, because the problem is we don't know. Will hydrogen cop on? Will nuclear fission cop on? Who knows what's going to be the fuel of the car? And that's the problem. So how can you sell more electric cars if we don't know electric's going to be around long enough? But I think electric cars are brilliant for short-term stuff. I'd certainly consider a second-hand car here, or second car here, to be electric. No problem to replace that, because our mileage is quite low. But if you're driving, commuting 70, 80 kilometers a day and you don't have a charge station at the other end, you've got a problem. My God, that's a long cats and nuts. I missed that, sorry. Do you see an analogy between the evolution of mobile phones and cars? Some say that automotive industry is the last one not fully digitized. Correct. And when you actually go to a car company's factory, you realize just how mechanical the whole place is without much electrics in it in the first place. Even though there's lovely big robots doing their thing, it's actually quite straightforward. What's my favourite film? I think what I watched the other night. I don't know what my favourite film is, Matt, but I can't think of one. Saving Private Ryan is pretty good. But I watched Legend the other night, which is the Cray twins. The two parts played by the man that did Mad Max. That's a good movie. Pretty good. Could have been maybe 15 minutes shorter. I do like Blade Runner as well, yes. And what else would I think of? Bullet is a good movie, although it's a bit old now. The car chase is quite good though. 2010 Audi A5 or Passat CC? Passat CC is prettier. Yeah, I'd go Passat CC maybe. It's hard to decide. Audi has more status, a lot more status. I do like the A5. Why are Irish drivers so terrible? Drove in the M50 Saturday, fast aim as car park 60 mile an hour. I know, yeah. Irish drivers don't really understand the 3 lanes of things. They're supposed to drive in that lane and overtaking the other 2. They're not the worst in the world. I have driven in countries that have much worse drivers than in Ireland. But if you're Irish and brought up here looking at that kind of driving, it's quite simple. If you go to Paris and drive around the Arc de Triomphe, then you'll see that's real drivers. That's brave. Citroen 2CV or walking? Anyone want to answer that one? A Citroen 2CV or walking, you reckon? You're right too that people don't use indicators. People don't indicate properly on roundabouts. I've seen people come into a roundabout in the left lane and go all the way around the roundabout and then leave the roundabout without indicating once and stay in the left lane. I fail to comprehend where people get their licenses from or get their stuff from. And then where to get the idea that they're being safe. A lot of cars on the road. This is why most crashes happen. Most crashes are happening because of driver distraction. It's a big thing. Do you have much love for American cars? Do you think the American car industry will fare in the future? I do like Americana in general. Now, I wouldn't say that I'd run out in Ireland to buy an American car, but I do like Americana. I like Mustangs, muscle cars, really cool. I think they're really cool. There's something about those old Chevys and Pintos and things from years ago. Just absolutely gorgeous car. But the American car industry serves America. Unfortunately, the Americans are looking for value for money and better gas mileage, as they say, and all that sort of thing. If American cars don't provide that, then they're going to find that somewhere else, and that will be Japanese cars or European cars or whatever it has to be. People will buy with their pockets. I think you have a good day. Time for dash cam, he thinks. Yeah, dash cam. A lot of people put in dash cam. I actually got overtaken by a guy who was shaking his fist at me on the motorway, and he was pointing at his dash cam. And I literally sitting there with cruise control on, 120 kilometers an hour, and I don't know what he was pointing at. Jamie, but A the best. If you could spell, I'd probably say it out better. Be great. Can we change the infrastructure in the UK to work with wildlife and help humans survive? I don't know. That's a good question. We need to stop producing so many brand new cars the whole time and learn to love the second-hand cars and hold on to a little bit longer. Celtic versus Rangers. Celtic versus Rangers. That's a Scottish question now, and I was in Braveheart, so I'm part Scottish. Which Euro country has the worst roads condition-wise? UK. No, Matt. The UK does not have the worst roads. There are some really tragic roads in the UK, but there's some in Ireland as well. The further east, the further east you go in Europe, the worse it becomes. Around Bratislava, I think, would probably where the roads start to turn Russian, and that's where it gets a little bit dodgy, right? Where in Ireland from? Kildare is where I'm actually from originally, but I live in Portlaoise. Do you prefer the Civic Type R or the Ford Focus RS? Ford Focus RS. Much more comfortable, much more pleasant to live with in general. Won't attract quite as much attention as the Civic Type R, but it does attract very nice attention. It's also faster. I think it's faster. Feels faster. What's your opinion on VW CC? I enjoyed it so far. I love the CC. I love it. I have no problem with CC. I think it's a really gorgeous car. They don't make enough of it. In fairness, they just don't. They don't really understand it. They got such a good car. I think. Don't know why. i8 is a beautifully, beautifully designed car. Will look old very soon. There's a mate of mine owns one. I'm going to say that to her. Actually, 2 mates of mine own them. It will look old very soon. That's the problem. There'll be a lot more stuff that'll come along and be prettier and nicer and stuff. But the i8's gorgeous, yeah. I don't know any jokes, race, line, karting. I don't know any jokes. I don't tell jokes, but I'll have a bit of crack with you though. Some people say that German manufacturers are not able to keep up with the automotive trends and they will have the same fate as Nokia. Do you agree? No, I do not. German car manufacturers tend to set the benchmark in Europe when it comes to what cars are doing. So there's no hope. You making a lot of money, YouTube money? No. YouTube? Nah. There's a page somewhere out there on Patreon. You can give me money if you want money. There's a Patreon page belonging to me. I don't think I've ever actually logged into it. Do you know new Renault Megane RS? Renault have lost the edge when it came to the RS. I loved it. I absolutely loved the last generation and the test. There's a video on it on my channel there. A beautiful, beautiful car, but dear God, if Renault need to, they've got a really good range and beautiful design cars at the moment. If they did something good with that, we'd end up with a really fast car, but I don't know if they have the money. The Airtron, Aerton, yeah, is the new Volkswagen CC. I hope they do call it CC. I like CC. But it's very pretty. I've seen that. Somewhere. Can't remember where I saw it. Russian writing is all I see now. Can you say my username? Yoyoboy223. Golf R or Focus RS? That's a tough one. I don't know. I'd have to try them back to back and come back to that one. I think it just Focus RS would slightly edge it for me, just slightly, because you can have a bit of fun in it at any speed, whereas the Golf R is only really fun when it's going quickly. So that's a little bit tricky, but I would say, yeah, Focus RS. Alpine A110 is interesting though. It is, yes it is, by God. Have you done a video review of the Kia Niro yet? No, I had the Kia Niro, and the footage that I recorded for the Kia Niro video was lost because the SD card was sat on, and I sat on it. It was in my back pocket and I sat on top of it and broke the bloody SD card, and that's where all the footage of the Kia Niro was. It's very good. I do like the Kia Niro. It was a hybrid one I had. Really nice car. Looks odd, but is quite nice all the same. Do bicyclers blend into traffic there? I don't know what that means. I need to get a car, 100 grand range. 100 grand? You don't need my advice if you're looking for a 100 grand car. 100 grand for a car. Range Rover. Go buy a Range Rover Vogue. It's all the car you'll ever need. It'll climb a wall, or you can drive up as far as Dublin and it'll be great. What do you think of the top 5 cars in the world? That'd be an impossible decision to think of the top 5 cars right now. Depends on price range and type of car. Kia Optima. Tim O'Dwyer asks Kia Optima opinions. Not long after testing the Kia Optima, Kia still are doing great jobs. The design is really, really nice. It's still not quite in the same competition level as the rest of the cars that you can see in that kind of brand, but it's very pretty. Really is a very good image for Kia, but it just still lacks a little pizzazz. We still need a little bit more, toughness in the steering wheel, better hugging seats, and that kind of stuff. Someone's talking about Russian stuff. I don't understand what that is. Is it difficult to drive left side cars for you? No, it's just the same. I don't even notice. If I go overseas, if I go anywhere other than Ireland and England, it's all on the other side of the road. I'm so used to flying over to Germany or France or whatever, just jumping in the car, because everything changes. So it's not like driving a left-hand drive car on our roads. It's driving left-hand drive cars on the right side of the road. So you don't really notice it that much. Do bikers ride nice along cars? I know English is not your first language. I'm still not getting that. I'm terribly sorry. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I hope you will test more cars. You are the best review guy. Thanks, Raleigh NN. You're very kind. Would you review one TV movie car? Which would it be? Generally, Kit, Starsky. I did review Kit, actually, funny enough, for a newspaper. Starsky and Hutch, Batmobile car. Oh, Batmobile car. I'll take that. Not Batmobile like modern Batman. The Batman from the 70s. That Batmobile with the wings and all that stuff. That's freak. I want to drive that thing. That would be my thing now to try. I love that. Kit would only be fun to drive if it was actually Kit and not just that car, which I actually had a spin in here in Ireland. I'm not supposed to say that. It was the original Kit one as well. It was one of the stunt cars. I had a spin in it here in Ireland. And I drove the General Lee as well, funny enough. The actual real one. Driven a new i30 yet? i30. Yes, I have driven the i30 briefly. I thought it was really nice, but still the same level of Hyundai is the problem. It's hard to wrap my head around where Hyundai is. Very good car, but they do need to fix the steering, and there's a little few bits to make it more European, but they're nearly there. Still troubling everybody with that 5-year warranty, which would be the big thing for me. Do you think, what's the most popular car in Ireland? It is, I think, the Toyota something or other, is it? Number 1 in the sales charts, Toyota, I think, or Ford. They all swap places. Volkswagen, Ford, and Toyota all go one of the 3. Have you ever considered reviewing older cars, modified cars? Yeah, the problem is insurance. Older cars are very hard to quantify insurance, so how much they're actually worth. And then you have a problem going to an insurance company, I'm driving a a 20-year-old car and it's worth 50 grand or something. It's very hard to explain that to an insurance company. So insurance is usually the issue that I haven't driven it. Plus, a lot of older car owners are quite finicky about their cars. They don't want you, they don't want you to drive their cars, their precious thing, and it's very hard to consider that. I will be driving the Skoda Octavia 2002 one that I drove in another video, and Skoda has asked me to drive that again next week. So I'm going to be reviewing the 2002 Skoda Octavia. It was one of my most popular videos. That one is. I recently bought a McLaren 650. Do you think you should sell it? Made appreciate now. I'm from Cork. Evan, you bought a McLaren 650S. Come up here to Portlaoise. I'll test it and then I'll tell you if it's going to be depreciated or not. Yeah. No, it won't. A McLaren won't depreciate. I'll try not to take it high on the Genesis. BMW 3 or VWCC. That's a tough choice. I see why. BMW 3 is going to be more fun because of rear-wheel drive. And it is fun. I've never heard of this YouTuber. Hey, Fitzbella. I've never heard of this YouTuber. Now you have. Subscribe. You can subscribe there. Click wherever that subscribe button is. It's underneath my face there. See down that way? It's underneath my face. Click subscribe. It's good for you. It'll make you feel better as well. I don't need an SUV, says Dodo Guy. I hear you. Where excellent design has been timed out. Who's spamming? Don't be spamming. Moderator's still on the case here, guys. You got to be watching that spamming stuff. Could you please compare the ride quality between a Skoda Octavia Mark III and a Golf 7? I can't remember which one's Mark III. I'm trying to remember. See you, Nick. Nick is going away. 61 minutes. I was trying to make an hour of this. My birthday, like, you know that? I have to go for my birthday dinner. We're going out to dinner, I think. Do bicyclers... Oh, we're back to that question again. Right, okay. Do bicyclers and car drivers share the same road nicely? In Ireland? No. No, we don't. There's a continuous fight in Ireland about bicycle lanes, cycle lanes, and being able to go places. I was going to try and train for an Ironman, but it's nearly as difficult to get out on a bloody bike to do any of that stuff. It's really hard. So no, we don't do well with bicycles in Ireland. Big cities wouldn't be so bad. Thanks for all the birthday stuff. That's not why I said it was my birthday. It's just the next thing I'm trying to do is I need to get a bit of money together to do this, but I need to get a new computer, main PC inside, so I can do gaming videos on this channel as well. I've got a lot of requests for gaming channels. I think it's because Jacksepticeye, which is a fellow from Westmeath, top of the morning to you. That guy, he's brilliant. He's so funny. But he's from like up the road. I'm in Offaly. He's in Westmeath. He's in like a county away. I met his mother. Met him as well. Where are we after that now? Have you seen the Faraday FF91 live? No, I haven't seen that, Charles. No, unfortunately not. Do bike racks really screw up how the car drives, rooftop or back of the car, which is better? Bike racks really do, yeah, they do. Any disturbance of aerodynamics will always kill the way the car operates. So yeah, it's always going to do. So roof rack is fine, but you need to slow down a bit. If you're going to fly down a motorway with a roof rack on and bikes on a roof and all that sort of stuff. I know a guy, Richie Oakley from the Sunday Times. Richie tells me that he drives with the bikes in the car with him. He has to put them on roof racks. So if you really want to mind your bikes, put them in the car and put the passengers on the roof. That's how fanatical he is about bikes. But the one on the tailgate is the one that has the least wind resistance, but it's also the one that gets in the way most. So if you want to carry bikes the best, then put them on a roof because they get out of the way. Try crowdfunding for the computer. I have a Patreon channel. You want to give on a Patreon channel? I will certainly put it towards a new computer at the moment. Isn't it? Hi Bob. Isn't it weird being a Bob? Thank you. Yeah. No, not really. No, not really. It's okay being a Bob. Because you can call me Robert, Robbie, Bob, Bert. You can call me all them names, and I'll answer to any one of them, which is fine. Flav was my nickname growing up, so Bob Flav. My whole family's called Flav. Will we see an Irish car show again? Harold, we will see an Irish car show again. There is one, I suppose, coming up this year, but the big problem is that it's run by dealers and not run by car companies. So we only get to see really what's in a showroom in a dealership, which means you can just go down to a showroom and have a look at it. But, you know, it's not really going to show us a lot more stuff than we can already see in a showroom, unless they can attract in the right stuff from somewhere else. Hi, you are such an inspiration. Thanks, Benji. I'm sure I inspired you to do something. I don't know what. Drive? Who knows? Hi Bob, loved your videos. Bought a Mazda 6 based on your recommendation. Oh my god, I hate when someone tells me to buy a car. I hope it's good. I hope your Mazda 6 is brilliant. Keep doing what you do. No problem, James. You're very good. I will try and keep doing whatever I do as long as they give me cars and I can still make videos. I will continue doing what I do. Huge fan from Toronto, Canada, says Brandon. Keep up the awesome work. Have you ever visited Canada? Brandon, I have not visited Canada. I've been in America a couple of times, but I haven't visited Canada, no. You should do a car launch and invite me, and I'll go over to Canada and visit for the crack. I do like American stuff. It was great crack being over to America. I was in Texas and Washington, in New York, Detroit. Done a few different things over there. What kind of games when you play you start gaming on here? I was going to look at stuff that's on Steam mostly, with a particular emphasis on free games, because the big problem is the AAA games that come out at awful money. $59.99. I've never paid $59.99 for a new game. You shouldn't. It should be $49.99. It's €10 more too expensive. So I was going to concentrate on some of the free games you have out there as well, which are really, really good, top-notch stuff, proper interactive things. And I really want to start with that, and then maybe move on to some AAA stuff as well, and get some interesting stuff. Hey, Gavin Tap, first time I ever saw your channel. Subscribe is right on there, a little button at the bottom, red thing. If you click the little bell beside the red button, it notifies you every time I put a video up, which is pretty much every day at this stage. Hello, Bob. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks, Olivia. I'm having a brilliant day so far. Hopefully I'll be going out to dinner in a while. Who's next? Me too. What's your favourite car? I don't really have a favourite one. Whatever I'm in at the moment is usually my favourite car, because it's the one that's closest to my memory. Depends on your budget as to what kind of car you're looking for, and I'll tell you what kind of car would fit that budget. Put it around that way. I don't script anything ever. Any of the videos are totally unscripted, and these days they're definitely unscripted. I don't really like car shows to describe as to which one I like the most in Geneva. I was watching some of the live stream stuff. Nothing really took my fancy as to whether it would be the best car or whatever. Some of the cars we have at the moment are brilliant, so I don't know if I'd be worried about what happened in Geneva. Geneva should just show us what's coming in the future. Half the stuff that comes out in Geneva we'll never see in a showroom, so I don't worry about too much. Current Octavia, current Golf, any major difference between the ride quality? There's a big noticeable difference between torsion beam and multi-year. There is a noticeable difference when you're going over speed bumps and stuff. Yeah, you will feel the difference of the two wheels that's coming down on the back versus each one independently. Independent suspension always gives better handling. Always, you will never see torsion beam on a racetrack, for instance, so you're never going to see it in that respect. The difference between the two, the Octavia is slightly softer than the Golf, but hardly noticeable, to be honest with you. So stick with one or the other, whichever one you want. What car did you drive? What would you change to? A 1.6 litre Leon from 2006, what I currently drive, what I currently own. I would probably change to an electric car if I could find a reliable one, or maybe even a hybrid like a Prius or something. Just because it's a second car, we don't use it that much. It's sitting outside the door most of the time. Do you film all the videos yourself, and do you ever have help? Have you ever got strange looking film yourself out and about? Race Line Karting has asked, do I film the car? Yes, everything you see on this channel, I have filmed probably alone, barring one or two or three. Leah Carroll has helped me out in a couple of videos. There might be 3 or 4 videos total where I've had help on the channel. Michael Sheridan's helped me with a couple of videos, so I've had help, little bits of help along the way. I edit everything myself. I film everything myself. Currently film just about everything on a phone at the moment, and some of it's on a Canon G7X, which is over here, and some of the other stuff is on a Canon 60D, sorry. All down to the lenses. There's a Canon G7X, if you haven't seen one of them before. Really, really good little camera. I think it's on a G9 now. It is the newer one. First car you ever reviewed. First car that was ever given to me by a car manufacturer was a Renault. I think it was a Grand Scenic. I think. Maybe it was a Fluence. I think it was a Renault though, was the first car we had. Bob, Honda Insight or Prius? Prius. Honda Insight's never really done it for me. It's a little bit too over the top. The Prius just looks really good at the moment. New one. I bought the Megane RS after review, and then the Clio 4 RS Trophy. Good choice, Clio 4. Well done, Satan. What a name. Both silly, funny cars. What are your thoughts on the dual clutch from Renault? Renault. Where do I lie on Renault? I'll have to see where Renault are going. At the moment, the way they've changed all their lineup and the way it looks fantastic. Whether their sporty stuff will follow along behind and come up with some fantastic stuff, but it has to be startlingly good to get an epic response from people at the moment, because it's just such a choice in the market at the moment. Are premium cars worth it? 2006 BMW or 2012 Passat? You'll have more fun in a BMW. Yeah, they are worth it, in fairness. A lot of development costs are in the price of a premium car. You'll feel it in the difference inside in the materials, particularly that vintage when you're going back that far. 2006 Passat would be like a tractor these days compared to what it is now. So have a look around is the best answer for that one. How much do you usually get paid for reviewing a car? I don't get paid for reviewing a car at all. Car companies do not give me any money. This is an entirely independent channel. Nobody pays for anything, and I never ask car companies for permission to make a video. So the Audi Q2 video that I did, which was like 6 videos a video every day, where I pointed out the rust on the wheels. Audi have called me on that. They're going to give you an official response to why there was rust on the wheel arches. So don't worry. Nobody pays anybody for any videos or reviews. Nobody advertises on this channel. So it's totally independent. There you go. If you want to give me money, you can, though. That's fine. Hi, Bob. Far from Russia. Yeah, hi. I can't pronounce your name, but hi. How are you? What do you think about Lada car? Ladas. I have driven Ladas. Lada used to be here in Ireland. In the 80s, we had Ladas here. They're vehicles with wheels and windows and doors and things, but I don't know about driving it on a regular basis. Let's get Bob a new computer, Patreon, and search Bob Flavin. There you go. Somebody has a link there in the comments for my Patreon. I forget what it's called. I think it's Bob Flavin Video. I don't know. I haven't logged into it in so long, I forget. Nobody ever gave me money. I think some people give me money on it, but I don't know how much to give me money. So if you want to pledge, you can go onto Patreon and put in some money that way. Like I say, I don't get paid by car companies. Everything you see is fully funded by me. I do have a job. I make some money, but not enough to be buying a new computer off the top of my head like that. But does Bob like peanuts? I love peanuts. Peanuts, yeah, but they make you very fat. They're very fatty things, and they give me farts as well, which is the other part. But I do like peanut butter. Peanut butter, I do like. We discussed that in the last live stream. What car are you most looking forward to driving and reviewing this year? All of them. I never think ahead. I don't worry about it. I'm looking forward to the 5 Series is on my mind because it's a very important car for BMW. It usually sets their trend for the forthcoming cars are all like the 5 Series. But other than that, I don't really look that far ahead. I try to keep in the bounds of what I'm seeing at the moment. I've driven a couple of what I believe to be car of the year material this year already. I've driven them, so you know we're in a good year for cars this year now, I think. Yeah, we do, Sean. We do have a moderator. Is a fellow from Dutch. I met him last week. They were there, and he's back again to moderate again. They still moderate my channel at all times. What do you think of the 2016 Passat? Really good car, really nice. A little bit too many of them on the road would be the problem at the moment. They're literally everywhere in Ireland, particularly. Look out for the diesel ones. They're going to be devaluing soon, obviously, because diesel's going that direction. But I think the Passat is probably one of the best cars Volkswagen has put out in the last few years. Real cars, I don't know about fast cars. Why do you? Because Crim, I can't pronounce your name, but why do you shoot in Portlaoise a lot? Because I live in Portlaoise, so I don't have to go very far from home to shoot videos. Can anyone go to Mondello with their own car? Ross, you can. They do track days. Now, I would not advise taking your own standard like diesel or petrol car and going up to a track day and driving the whole out of it. It probably won't survive. The only thing I've ever seen survive track days as regular cars and come out was Honda Civics. They just do. The engines last. Christine Allen says you're cool. Thanks, Christine. You're very cool yourself. Very kind. Hey Bob, what do you think about a $300,000 Tesla? I think it's not worth a fiddler's. That's just too much money for any car. Really is. Stupid money. If you have it, look it. If you have 50 million in the bank and you want to spend 300 grand on a Tesla, work away. I'm sure Elon Musk will thank you greatly. Which review of yours has received the most views on YouTube? Funny enough, a Golf 7 review. It's not even monetized. I didn't even monetize it. From Golf 7 a couple of years ago. It opens with Jimi Hendrix music on it, and it's got like 750,000 views or something. Huge amount. Do you ever go diffing up and down the crossroads in your twin cam? I don't have a twin cam, but twin cams are if you find one, buy it. Honestly, put it in the garage, buy it. E92 M3 for Mondello. Yeah, Ross, you would. Yeah, if you got an E92 M3, but you want a spare set of tyres for sure to make sure your M3 doesn't destroy itself around every single corner you've got. Wow, there's even comments flying up this screen now at this stage. So many of you commenting. You're so good. What do you think of the Irish Traffic Corps lads these days? There's not enough of them, Paul. Irish Traffic Corps are very, very good at what to do. Unfortunately, I do have to give them a demerit point for parking behind people on the on-ramp on motorways, so catching you speeding. I don't agree with that. I think you should be prevented from speeding, which means you need to be visible. They need to be up on those little ramps on the motorway so we can all see them, we can all drive by them. They shouldn't be trying to catch us all the time. So, yeah, I have no problem with Traffic Corps, but there should be more of them. Head-up display, too much information while driving. No, head-up displays are brilliant. If you have one in front of you, which is popping up on the screen, so you don't take your eyes off the road, you can see your speed, sat-nav information, everything's right there in front of you. Brilliant idea for heads-up display. As long as the work, big problem would be polarization sunglasses. So if you've got a pair of polarized glasses, there's a massive problem with heads-up displays, particularly in BMW, because the lines all match up, you can't see the heads-up display. It becomes invisible. Is the CHR quiet inside? Yes, it is, Dodger, very quiet inside. I only driven the 1.2 petrol and the hybrid. The hybrid obviously is very quiet. At higher speeds, all cars are a bit noisy, but the petrol ones are better. Have you ever been bribed by a car company and don't say the name? No, Oisin, I've never been bribed by a car company. They have no interest in bribing me to say whatever they want to say. They'd rather you guys all talked about their cars. That's all they want, really. They don't bribe people anymore. Those days are gone. Maybe if you worked for Top Gear, I don't know. They were always nice about cars. In that last episode that was on, they were very nice about every car they'd seen. Hi Bob, I've had a few Golf TDIs, but this marks this troublesome, so I'll be looking for something different soon. What would you suggest near 2013, 2014? You're going to be in trouble trying to find anything that isn't diesel 2013, 2014. If a car is looked after, they last forever. That's how it works. You're going to have tough choices to make. Depends if you're moving from a Golf. You're going to be stuck because it's very hard to move into anything else. You're probably going to have to go to Ford or something. You want to get away from Volkswagen if you're after that Golf thing. Christine Allen says, I'm William. Christine, you're logged in as Christine Allen. You log it in as someone else, William. You want to sort that out. INT 2000 says, speaking of TG, which is Top Gear, it was pretty good last week. I've had both bad and good. I think the studio thing was a bit rubbish. I think the movies they made were actually okay. Yassine Ahmad says, how old are you? I'm 45 tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow. What's your opinion on the Irish car culture? There's been decimated by the tax system in Ireland, unfortunately, but it's coming back. There's some modification guys out there, and they are working. Why did we choose speed camera vans instead of fixed cameras that work? Paul Madden, that is a question that will keep you awake at night, honest to God. We chose speed camera vans because we could farm them out to a company. This is what the government did, not me. They could farm them out to a company who could look after them and staff them and man them and everything else. They could collect a cut of everything they are. So they are out to get you. Out to get you. Whatever they say, doesn't matter. They work 24 hours a day. They have to pay for themselves. Hi, which car would you choose, Ferrari or Lamborghini? Lamborghini, 100% of the time. Don't know why, just love the name, love the bull, love the whole thing about the Lamborghini feel, just the feel of the whole thing. Ferrari just leaves me a bit cold. It's all a little bit, you have to know your horsepower and the torque settings and vectorings and race modes and all that. Just get in and drive. Favourite country you visited? That's a good question. New Zealand. Best country I visited. That was my favourite country. Which would you pick, a Range Rover or Land Rover Discovery 5? Range Rover, if you have the money for it. Land Rover Discovery 5 are okay, but Range Rovers are just the best. Like, my number one car for one of the Euro Millions tomorrow would be a Range Rover Vogue. Not because it's particularly good to drive around, it's an everything car. You can happily drive through a big ploughed field and pull up at anything you want to do, and at the same time you go to dinner and, you know, turn up at a really executive high class restaurant. It'll be fine there as well. It's a perfect car. If you were at the Nürburgring and you could pick any car, what would it be? A car that would actually make one lap without blowing up would be a good start. If you want a fast lap time, Nissan GTR or something, you know, something that's nice and secure. Something Audi Quattro, maybe, you know, an S6 or something would be kind of fun around as well, because you can enjoy the lap and still be reasonably fast. Do you play Robbies? I don't know, what's Robbies? No, obviously not if I don't know what it is. No. 3 Series Coupe or C-Class Coupe? 3 Series Coupe. Not sure what C-Class Coupe has never really done it for me. It never really looks right. But I think 3 Series Coupe is really nice. Apart from the current model C-Class Coupe, which is really pretty. Round the back is really pretty. Trying to save up for a used AMG 63T model after my Clio 4S. Will it be worth it? AMG 63 C63 is a fantastic car, but please bear in mind, if you're saving up for a car like that, you are going to need a mortgage to make that thing drive, with fuel and tires and servicing. Everything scales up in price from that car. So bear it in mind, it'll be a lovely ornament sitting in your garage if you don't have enough money to run it. Okay. Have you ever been done for speeding? Done for speeding is a way of doing it. I was speeding and I have 3 penalty points. Yes. I was doing 73 kilometers an hour in a 60 kilometer an hour zone, and I was overtaking a taxi. But it was stupid. Coming over roundabout, no one was really moving that fast. I was slowing down as well. But anyway, look, you get penalty points, pay the fine, 3 penalty points. So everybody gets that, I think. Finland is expensive, but those taxes will do good. Yeah, Finland is expensive to do anything. Hang on, I have to just ban somebody. See, when you start down that route now, this is what happens. Block. It's free to play. What is? Robbie is free to play? I don't understand what that means. I don't know what Robbie is. Put a link in the description. Have a look at it. I pay €2,000 a year in car tax, insurance and road taxes here in Finland. My Irish friends told me to pay around 500 a year. That's a lie, in fairness. My car tax on my 2006 Seat Leon is nearly €500 on its own, without putting fuel in or tyres or anything else. So, nah, we pay a lot more in everything else. Try my summer car. My summer car. Okay, I'll have a look at that one. There's another one called Garage Simulator or Car Mechanic Simulator I seen on Steam. I downloaded a demo. It seemed to be pretty good. It's a bit of a laugh. Like, it wasn't really car mechanic stuff, but it seemed to be a bit of a laugh. 500 quid for tax in Northern Ireland, which is true. Yeah, their tax in Northern Ireland is quite high as well. How do those penalty points stay for long? Yes, 3 years you get for penalty points. How are you? I'm good. I'm fine, Elaine. I hope you're brilliant for the rest of the day. 3 years for penalty points, and you pay a fine as well. And if you get, obviously 12 penalty points is losing your license. Your favourite car colour? Don't know. Whatever. Not black. I have a black car and the thing just looks dirty the minute you clean it. Get Motorsports Manager. Yeah, I had to go with that as well. That's pretty good. F1 Manager is actually not bad either. It's a pretty good game. On the flip side of not doing car games, I actually play lots of first person shoot 'em up as well. 2007 Volkswagen Touareg. That's a big car. Nice though. Yeah, once you get the big powerful petrol, it's quite nice. It's alright. Expensive enough to run though. That wasn't a great year for fuel economy in fairness to it. But yeah, you'd be fine. Audi, best interior and exterior design across the range. Interior, yeah, I'd say they're nearly there. Volvo would give them room for the money on the interior design, but the way Audi have things that work together, you know, the way the screens all work together, perfect. Exterior design, don't know. Alfa Romeo, I'd give them a run on that one, but Audi's, yeah, pretty good. Volvo V60 or BMW 3 Series Touring. 3 Series Touring, thanks. Nice. Audi A3 Saloon S-Line, best car, yours. A3 Saloon. You know, that's a really nice car. I have one of them. That's the best car in the world that I did a video of at the ploughing championship. Was an Audi A3 S-Line Saloon. Beautiful looking car when spec'd properly. Will you be testing new Honda Civic? Yes, I missed the launch of it here in Ireland. I couldn't be there. I just hadn't got time to go to it as well. Exciting looking. It's not really European looking, but it's quite nice. Android or iOS, which one do you prefer? Why? I don't really have a preference. I think Android's a bit childish still. It still looks very kid oriented, young person oriented, and iOS just works. So iOS maybe. Will you be getting a new 5 Series soon? Yes, next month I think, or early, so maybe late this month. I forget. Ever driven a Barth 500? Yes, I have. What a little car! My God, it empties that fuel tank in just like 3 gear changes. But it's such a good little car and great fun to drive. You'll never regret owning one. If I could find a Panda, you know, the Panda Sporting is like 120 horsepower or something. One of them ones. They're really pretty as well. Bought a 2012 Kia Sportage after watching your video review. Love driving that car. Well done, Jim. You bought a good car. You're still under warranty, aren't you? 2012, 7 years. Well done. See? Yeah, I know what I'm doing. If you want, there's a link on in somewhere in the description there of my Patreon channel. If you want to do that, going to buy a new computer. Might buy some new camera gear as well. Need a few bits. It's been 7 or 8 years since I bought some really decent amount of stuff. So if you want to give on the Patreon channel, you can. Whatever you like. Off the cruise around New Zealand on Tuesday. Best place to visit. If you go down south, there's a little town called, in New Zealand, on a North Island, on the south half, there's a little town called Fielding. And from Fielding, you can get to anywhere. Wellington is just down the way. You can go to the coast on both sides. And on the east coast, there's a place called Herbertville. Look that place up. That's good crack. I live in the Netherlands. Good for you. How late is it? My house, 16:23. It's 15:23 here, so we're an hour behind you. I was in Athlone a few years back, very drunk. I was in Athlone yesterday, going on a shopping centre. Has your car ever been remapped or recommended? No, it has not been remapped, and I wouldn't recommend it. A car is designed to build to a certain tolerance. I understand a car is designed to have redundancy in that tolerance. So if it's 100 brake horsepower, you could possibly have 150 brake horsepower from that same engine because the redundancy is built in. But it may not be built into it for longevity. So a car may not last as long as you want it to last when it's been remapped. Okay, so bear it in mind. It can get pretty expensive. Okay, I think that's enough questions, is it? We've gone for 85 minutes. Never supposed to last that long. I don't watch TV, Ella. Last few questions. Go for it. Do you know the Netherlands? Yes, I do. I've been there loads of times. Amsterdam mainly, but south of there as well. So I do know the Netherlands. Yeah, mostly fucking bike lanes, if I'm honest. Best scenic drive in Ireland. Anywhere in Wicklow, anywhere around the Ring of Kerry. Look for particularly the Ring of Kerry. There's some great roads on there, but get off the Wild Atlantic Way. There's nothing on it but heartbreak. Look forward to the next broadcast. Alan, next Sunday, hopefully at the same time. Dream car, unlimited budget. Anything that's got like £500,000 worth of a car is always going to be dream car. Aston Martin DB11, if you want me to choose one particularly. Party for under 40k. I see that 40k. Say a Cupra, something Cupra from Seat, really good value. Would you do a quick burnout first, please? I'm not driving a car, so I can't do a quick burnout. Anyway, I don't really do burnouts. Unless you're on a closed road, it just eats fuel. Ireland is beautiful. It is, Charles, and the sun is out, and I need to go for a run and things. So yeah. Ever been to Tramore? I have been to Tramore. Tramore is a lovely town when it's not winter. It's a really nice town. I have drove there from north to south a few times. You should come down more often, Charles. It's a lovely place. First thing that came to your mind when you listen India. What? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you listen to India? Listen to India? Don't know. India, like Brimful of Asha music or something, is it? What's your favourite dog? One that's not in dog food, preferably. 140 horsepower or 170 horsepower Passat CC. Always get more horsepower wherever it's possible. If the number is bigger, it's always better. Just like video games. Volvo are getting very boring. They want to stop people driving cars, is really what it is. They want to do automated driving as much as they can, and that's the direction Volvo is going in, and that's why I get a little bit annoyed with Volvo, because they've got some of the prettiest, beautiful looking cars ever. Favourite video game? Look up a game. It's a free game on Steam called Fistful of Frags. Okay, Fistful of Frags. Look it up. It's a free game. You can download and play it. It's great crack. If you can get on a server, it's really good crack. But if you can't get on a server, it's a pain in the hole. Windows or Mac, whichever one gives me the best. I use a Mac right here, but I have a big Windows PC inside as well, which I hope to God someone will buy me brand new PCs and do some gaming videos as well. Is that it? Deadly. Hold that thought. Don't ask any more questions. I'm going to leave it there. For next week, we're going to do it again. We're going to have more videos. The next car on the channel is going to be the Ford Edge. So I'll pick it up tomorrow, and I'll start making videos on that one as well. So if you can get that, are you a teacher? I used to be a computer teacher years ago, yeah. I'm going to test that for the week. I also think I have a Megane GC booked in, but I'm not too sure about the Megane. I might not be there either, but I definitely have a Ford Edge. So Ford Edge will be next. You can have a check at that one, and we'll have some videos on the Edge. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment. Do the sharey thing as much as you possibly can, and hopefully you give me some love on the Patreon end of things as well if you want to look me up there. If you don't, just thank you very much for watching these videos. As always, would be free, and they're all self-funded. It's an independent channel. I absolutely love that you guys come along to this. It's been an epic 89 minutes, and I'll see you on the far side.